Aloha, Coach Kai here, giving you some tips to develop foundational strength. As a martial artist, you're actually a warrior athlete. What do I mean? Well, a true warrior in combat has to prepare their body to be able to function for them under combat stress. Physiologically, that means you want to be as light as possible while being as strong as possible. You don't want to be big for nothing. If you just do bodybuilding, then you have to carry that weight with you along with all your gear as you go through a swamp or a desert or a forest or whatever the jungle may present itself to be that you have to face. So in order to do that well, you want everything that you do in your training to support your mission as a warrior athlete. In terms of strength, that means we want to develop tendon strength, core strength, and functional muscular strength that has both power and endurance. One of the good body weight exercises to develop this is the pull-up. For me, my interest in the pull-up actually started from failure. When I was in 7th grade, I had to take that presidential physical fitness test, but I had skipped 2 grades, so I was kind of young for a 7th grader, and I had difficulty. I couldn't even do a pull-up. It was very embarrassing for me at the time, but rather than look on that as a failure, I saw it as a challenge. So I used my paper route money, and I went and bought myself a dual-weight pull-up bar, put a chair under the bar, and started out from the top and just lowered myself down until I was strong enough to pull myself up. So there's no shame in doing whatever you have to do to crawl, walk, run to do it right. Don't be fast for nothing. Take things slow. It's just like learning how to shoot. With firearms, you don't want to just pick the thing up and go nutso. You're more likely to hurt yourself or one of your friends. You don't do it fast until you do it accurately. So you learn the proper technique, you hit the target, you get tight grouping, and then and only then do you try to do it more rapidly. When you can reliably do that, then you do it on the move. So there's a whole progression, and with something that dangerous, it's clear why that progression is important. But in this life, you only have one body. So treat your body right, take all these exercises step by step, so that you're training for the long haul. You still want to be a functional warrior athlete when you're in your senior years. There's no stopping point. There's no time that it's too late to start. So whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, what have you, start where you need to start and finish beyond the horizon. Okay, so a proper pull-up. Let's take a look at it with Matt here. What we want to do is isolate each muscle group so that there's no weak point in our strength curve. So he starts out in a dead hang, isolates the scapula, pulling them together, pulls it up to the midpoint, completes the chin up, lowers himself back to the midpoint, back to the V, and then releases the scapula. He does this with breathing. Inhale, 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 exhale, exhale, exhale. Excellent. Okay? So, proper pull-up, we want to control the breathing. In all of our exercises, we want to be able to control breathing because in real life, breathing control helps you control your heart rate. And under stress, when you have that adrenal dump in flight or fight or freezing, you don't want to have that happen to your body because it'll take away your ability to function. So by learning how to control your breathing, you're actually learning how to regulate your heart rate. Keeping your heart rate under control allows you to be able to do complex motor skills under stress. And that's how all the high-speed operators train. Don't let yourself be an exception. Train to be an operator. So John here is going to show us the next exercise, which is a squat. And again, we're going to use breath control. He's going to work his squat all the way down, controlling the breathing. Every time he gets to a sticking point, he's going to use the breathing to help the oxygen flow into the joint through the blood. Okay? So he's only going to move on the exhale. 1, he inhales, he exhales, he moves. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. By 10, he should be down to a complete dead hang, where he's all the way down like a sumo wrestler. Okay? And as he comes back up, he's going to get his hips back under him. So let's watch him go back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay? So all the way down, all the way up. As you get better, you can actually add more counts to that. When you go nice and slow like this, it forces you to engage tendon strength. Okay? Our next exercise, number 3, is going to be the push-up. Now, for the push-up, you got to think, what is it for? For me, I realize that as a martial artist, I want to be able to increase the actual functional strength I'm going to use. So it's not just going to be this. A lot of the times, I want to also be able to develop my ability to punch. So if we're doing Wing Chun JKD kind of stuff, that means vertical shots. Okay? If we're doing standard type of hitting, then we realize that biomechanically we're strongest at a 45-degree angle, so that's where I want to end. Okay? So John and I are going to do this at the same time so I can show 2 different things. He's going to be trying to develop that close-in Wing Chun type of strength. Okay? And I'm going to be showing using an aid, a training aid. And I'm not trying to advertise for these guys, but it was a good invention because this allows me to rotate through the push-up. Just like the squat, we're going to be doing this with the breathing. So John and I will be here. Okay? So I'm starting out by my side, but I'm going to be rotating as I go down. Okay? So ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? So that's just a demonstration on how to do that. Again, I'm doing it nice and slow with the controlled breathing to develop tendon strength. Okay? Our 4th exercise is the sit-up. I'm going to show you a trick on the sit-up that helps me quite a bit. In a future instruction, I could probably go over how to use these bad boys. Kettlebell is an excellent tool for martial artists. It helps your grip, it helps your functional movement, it strengthens your joints, and then for firearms control, it gives you like a death grip like you wouldn't believe to stabilize your weapons. So, how am I going to use this in a sit-up, you might wonder? Well, most gyms have something that you hook your feet under. But what that does is it actually engages the hip flexors, which is a cheat, honestly. We want to only work abs. So, in order to do a proper sit-up, I'm going to actually lever these things so that I'm putting pressure against them. Using the biceps femoris or hamstring, I'm pulling into myself. And for those of you that do jiu-jitsu or some other form of grappling like sambo or judo, this is also going to help you stabilize somebody if you're setting them up for an armbar, right? So you won't accidentally do the wrong motion and give them wiggle room. So with this, again, I'm controlling my breathing. So if I'm starting from a base, I'm going to be only moving on the exhale. And then same thing on the way back. And if this is too easy, I can grab another bell, pull it to myself, and add resistance for it. But the whole point is that I'm controlling the movement throughout, controlling the breathing. And really, if I was doing these not on tape, I'd be doing them much slower, but I'm also trying to have you guys not fall asleep on me. Okay? Now the opposite of the sit-up is going to be the leg raise. Now the leg raise, same thing. We're going to go real slow from a fully supine position and then bring the leg all the way up and over. Okay? Matt's going to come back in so I can explain some key points while he's demonstrating that technique. So he goes ahead and he's going to hit the deck. Okay? Now, he's going to lay completely supine, and with the breathing, he's going to bring himself up and over. Okay? So he's going to do a 10 count on his own. Go ahead, Matt. And then all the way back. Notice the pace is slow. It's controlled all the way through. There's no cheat where he throws his legs up or throws them down. He's forcing himself to get stronger and not cheat. whatever he has to do that. Now, one thing he can do to compensate this, since for most people that haven't trained this for a while, this is going to be extremely difficult. So what will happen is we can help Matt out by letting him use a bell. And that way he can use the bell to counterbalance, so that, do a faster one, so that if he got to a point where he got stuck, he could use the bell to counterweight and help him come over. And then on the way back, he can use the bell to counterweight to keep him from lapsing. Okay? This is because the most common error in these kinds of things is if someone is doing them and they get stuck and they'll go, and they'll like try to kip up. Or the same thing. They'll be up and over, and then on the way down they'll just kind of dump instead of being able to control the movement nice and slow. Okay? So if you think about it, these are all really, really key component exercises. You don't need a whole lot of equipment to do. The pull-up, the squat, the push-up, the sit-up, and the leg raise. So work on that, and next time, if you need me, I'll be here to help you out. Aloha.